Okay then lads, welcome back to 99Sport. My name is Cossy. Welcome to the drama of the New Year's Day and the drama of the Premier League. That's why we love the Premier League. It's always so dramatic. I mean, you can't cease to end. I mean, the drama doesn't seem to end. Again, Arsenal, in a game that they should have won, in a game that you thought they were going to win it, somehow things turned the other way around, and Manchester City did what champions they do. They win that game 2-1, absolutely, in a game that you thought City didn't deserve anything. They somehow come away with full points, absolute victory, and they're now 53 points on the table. We're going to be looking at some of the most important elements in that game. Why I think Arsenal, yes, it was the referee. Absolutely, I've said that on my podcast. But I think you also have to think about it that when you're playing a team like Manchester City, you've got to be very cautious. You've got to take your chances. They don't take their chances. City do. Actually, City in the whole game, they have 2 chances on target and they have 2 goals. So that is the brilliance of a team like Manchester City. We're gonna be looking at that, but also the poor form of Stuart Atwell, the referee, and why I think VAR is becoming a very, very big disgrace in football in the UK. Right, so let's get to the starting lineups. This is how both teams started. Ederson was in goal for Manchester City. João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Aymeric Laporte. They played Nathan Ake at right back. I thought Arsenal could actually exploit that. Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva were the midfield 3. Absolutely outclassed by Thomas Partey in that game. Riyad Mahrez was a little bit silent up until the penalty moment. Gabriel Jesus was who really had nothing to do in that game, and then Raheem Sterling, who was very, very, very lively but only partially in that game. That is how they started in a 4-3-3. Really, really, very, very casual. That is how they always line up. Arsenal really brave from Mikel Arteta and whoever really picked the team, because again they also went for their usual starting lineup. And in the same formation, at times you think when they play Man City, when they play Liverpool, they're going to play 4-2-3-1. Sorry, they're going to play 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. But absolutely courageous from Arsenal, and they were not rewarded really. But if they would get that win, I think the courage would have been absolutely rewarded. So this is how they started. Ramsdale was in goal. Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, Kian Tierney, Xhaka, Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli, and Alexander Lacazette. I think it's pretty sure the usual starting lineup. Now we've already seen from this Arsenal side. So there were no changes, apart from a returning Tomiyasu, who was coming back, replacing Ben White, who played as an inverted wing back in their last fixture. Rob Holding then dropped out of the starting lineup. Right, so I think in terms of the lineups, you don't blame any manager. I think Pep Guardiola went for his best lineup. I think that lineup, it wins every game in the Premier League 100%. Arsenal, that is their best lineup. I mean, there's few points to argue about. Maybe Emile Smith-Rowe and Albert Samuel Lokonga, but I think those are the only 2 players you can really argue for. The rest, that is how Arsenal should be starting lining up. And that is how they should be starting. But I think the most important elements of this game have been chances created by Arsenal, the dominance by Manchester City, that was really, really partial, and then chances taken by Manchester City and the referee that was really, really abysmal. So let's talk, first and foremost, let's talk about the penalty incidents, that one was denied and the other was actually given. I think that's why many Arsenal fans are going to be very, very furious with Stuart Atwell. Now, in the first incident, Martin Odegaard is through on goal. That is a goal scoring opportunity. I mean, look, we've got to agree to that that ball, he gets to that area, he gets to that point in that situation because he has taken a very, very poor first touch. If he doesn't do that, I think he would have a wider view on goal, and he would take, he would have, put the shot away. And I know Martin Odegaard really, deep down in him is like, I wish I took the shot. I wish I took the shot earlier. I wish I put the shot away a little bit earlier. But that is not what is even important. What is important in that in that scenario is Odegaard is through on goal. The goalkeeper is there, and 99% without VAR recommendation, that is a penalty. But Stuart Atwell, on first instinct, and that is what really shocked me, because on first instincts, he doesn't give it as a penalty. He actually gives it as a corner. And it was always going to be so hard for VAR to overturn that. And I do not really blame the VAR official in this case for not overturning the penalty, because again it's more like you're trying to overturn the decision by the on-field referee. You've got to do a lot. You've got to have a lot, in terms of evidence. But what I don't understand is why Stuart Atwell, in the first incident on Martin Odegaard, doesn't go to the screen. I don't understand, because again that is so tight that the feet of Martin Odegaard are already placed in there just almost simultaneously as Ederson gets to that ball. It's so very, very close. I mean, you have to go to the screen 99% again of the time. You've got to go to the screen. And what I don't understand is in the second instant, when Bernardo Silva goes down, you don't even need to go to the screen. When I looked at that on two instances, I said, that's a penalty. He's holding him. He's going down. Yes, but he's holding his shot. That's a penalty. I mean, you don't need to go to the screen. And then he goes to the screen, and it gives a very, very clear penalty for me. Arsenal don't need really to moan about it. It was a penalty. But give that penalty, and also give the one for Martin Odegaard, because 100%, 99%. I'll leave the 1% because anything can happen in football, and it did happen. It did happen on this evening. That's a penalty. That is an absolute penalty. So look, it was a shambles by Stuart Atwell. He doesn't give the Martin Odegaard penalty. I think Ederson is gonna say, I reached there first, but he gets to the ball through the player. He gets to the ball through Martin Odegaard. And look, we've seen all these penalties really given. The last penalty Arsenal got against, was it Norwich City, Alexander Lacazette? It's a very, very similar penalty. There is no way you're going to get to the ball, which is miles away, without, it's like, what Stuart Atwell says is that Martin Odegaard's legs are transparent. You can easily go through them. Right, and we know they are not. So for me, it's a shambles, but it's a shambles by him on a New Year's Day. It's a shambles, and I know many Arsenal fans should be furious. With him, it's really, really poor. But again, away from the officiation and whatever happened in that game, Arsenal should be closing this game down. They should be killing this game off by half-time. And that's why I think, all being said, Arsenal still have themselves to blame for why they didn't beat Manchester City today on the New Year's Day. Let's get to see this. Right, this is how they started off. That is the lineups, like you can see them there. Absolutely very, very brilliant. But what I wanted to look at is right here. Look, the shots they had. Arsenal, between these three players, that is Martinelli, Lacazette, and Saka, they had 7 shots in total. 7 shots between those three players. No other Arsenal player had a shot on goal other than Saka, who scored, Martinelli, who had a couple of chances to score, and Alexander Lacazette as well. On the other side for Manchester City, you can see that Amawulire, Laporte, Diaz, Cancelo, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, Bruno Silva, Mahrez, Jesus, and Raheem Sterling all had shots on goal. But what is fascinating about that is City had 2 shots on target throughout the 90 minutes. They had so many shots. They had 15 in total, and you can see there they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They had 9 players shooting on goal, and out of those 9, they only managed 2 shots on target. There was a penalty from Riyad Mahrez, and the last winner, the winner from Lodri. I think those are the only two shots on target they had, and that's why I think Arsenal only had themselves to blame. Gabriel Martinelli, the chances he got, it should be 2-2. It should be 3-2. It should be look, at some point in time, because goals change games. If Martin Odegaard scores in the first instant against when he goes 1-on-1 against Ederson, and then Saka scores, and then Gabriel Martinelli scores at halftime, that game is 3-0 at halftime, and it is absolutely over. City would come in that game for damage limitation. So again, Arsenal have got themselves to blame because they've got the shots, they've got the chances, they don't bury them. But if you look at the other aspects of the game, and I think this is what is quite fascinating in this game, Arsenal really outworked Manchester City. They really did a lot. Listen, in terms of ball possession, Arsenal 28.8, Manchester City 71.2. That is in terms of ball possession. But just look at that. Just look at that at that field. Arsenal players really worked very hard. Right. Let's look at some of the heat maps of the team of both teams, Arsenal and Manchester City. Those are here we go. Those are the heat maps, Arsenal and Manchester City. You can see you can see the work rate of Arsenal. They only had 397 touches. Manchester City on the other side had 809 touches. But Arsenal really worked hard. That really shows you how hard Arsenal worked. And absolutely, they deserved everything in this game. They deserved 3 points. They deserved a point. They deserved to score. Everything they got in that game, they absolutely deserved it. Because they really worked hard. If you look at the chalkboard and you look at how spread out Arsenal were in this game, I think this picture definitely brings out every moment that you need to think about, right? Because whenever you see a blue, which is Manchester City, you're also seeing what you call a red or an orange, which is Arsenal. Trying to show you that they played Manchester City toe to toe, and they equally. They were equal to the challenge, and they were even better than Manchester City. In my match reaction on Cossy's Arsenal podcast, I said, for me, City, by the levels, by the standard that we know them, they offered nothing in this game. Absolutely, they offered nothing, and I'm not wrong. I'm definitely not wrong when I said that Manchester City offered nothing in this game. Two shots on target, one being a penalty. They offered nothing. They definitely offered nothing, but I think unlucky Arsenal, right? Very unlucky Arsenal. But there are points to take away from this game. If you're an Arsenal fan, if you're an Arsenal, supporter, there's so many points to take away from this game. Number one, there's a lot of progress in this Mikel Arteta side. There's a lot of progress. You've seen them go toe to toe with Manchester City, and they not only win possession, they not only win, possession. They not only look so good, but they look free. They look very comfortable on the ball. They give Manchester City a run for their money. How many clubs have done that? They're not so many. So I think psychologically, this is gonna be very hard defeat to take in, because they will feel like we deserve more. We deserve a lot. But at the end, think about it. They will sit back a minute and they'll be like, okay, Mikel, that we played very good football. How many times have we played as good at this against a top side? And then Mikel will be like, you've not really played anywhere against top side this season. Because if you look at the earlier encounters, apart from Leicester and Tottenham Hotspur, they lost 5-0 to Manchester City. They lost 2-0 to Chelsea. They lost 4-0 to Liverpool. Was it 5-0? 4-0 to Liverpool. So every big side, and they lost 3-2 to Manchester United, and they also lost 2-1 to Everton. Those games, really, highlight a big difference between the Arsenal we saw today trying to, give Manchester City a run for their money, and the Arsenal we've been seeing that has been really laying them down, laying themselves down to be hit. So this is a very, very bitter Arsenal, and it just brings out the comments of Pep Guardiola when he says this is the best Arsenal side, in the last 5 years. I think he's right. This is an Arsenal side that really performed very, very well. If you look at every statistic, if you can go by every statistic, if you look at the touches, they had 398 touches against the Manchester City side that is really, really quality. If you look at the claims, they had one-on-one with Manchester City. That is the goalkeepers. If you look at the tackles attempted, there are 26 tackles attempted. Manchester City had 23. Impressive. Really impressive. If you look at the interceptions, they had 10 interceptions. Manchester City had 2. Impressive. Look, this Arsenal side, they should be proud of themselves. It's New Year's Day. I mean, it calls for celebrations. If you look at the blocks, 13-2. Again, they were better than City there. And the only areas where City were better, right? You have City lost the ball more times than Arsenal. That is 26 times, and Arsenal lost the ball only 70 times. That means the problem of lack of concentration, loss of concentration, has actually been solved in this Arsenal side. Because the Arsenal side we knew is that team that really loses possession so many times to an opponent, especially like Manchester City. But you can see City lost the ball more times than Arsenal, and that shows you that they worked harder than Manchester City. So City losing more balls. City had more clearances. When a team has more clearances, that doesn't mean they're better. They had more clearances than Arsenal. And one important one from the line by Nathan Ake. City, again, had more dribbles. But if you look at the dribbles, they only had 2 more dribbles than Arsenal. And they had more passes attempted and more shots overall. But on target, they had the same number of shots. Can I see the number of shots? Probably I cannot. So lads, I think if you're an Arsenal fan out there, you've got to be really proud of your team. They've really, really done well. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and I know, if you're out there, you'll be like, Cossy, we were cheated, and I know it was absolute cheating. It was absolute cheating. It's a disaster class from the referee, but there is nothing again you've got to do about it. You just need to pray that at some point in time, the match officiation in the Premier League gets better and better and better. But anyway, lads, that is what those are my talking points from this game. Arsenal still sitting fourth, in the Premier League. Of course, it's now more pressure on them, and I think they are done very well. If they had beat City, they are done very well to just clear off that pressure from Manchester United, West Ham, and Tottenham Hotspur. Because if you can look at the table right now, I don't know if I can find the table. Match center. I need to find the standings. Where are they? Again, if you look at the table now, there's a lot of pressure now on Arsenal that is really uncalled for at the moment. Really, really uncalled for. And it is courtesy of the fact that they have failed to beat Manchester City, a game that they actually offered everything, and they just failed to win. Okay, where is the table? Where to find team statistics, fixtures, summary? Okay, I'm just trying to find the table here, but it's quite... I can't find the table. I can't find the Premier League. Okay, maybe we could find it here on the Premier League. Yeah, here we go. So if you look at the table, Arsenal 35 points. They played 20 games. They are on the same number of points, the same number of games as West Ham, but West Ham have 1 point short. West Ham are 1 point short. That really shows you that Arsenal really need to win their next game. and their next game comes against Tottenham Hotspur in the league. So, but if you look at what is actually more, frightening for Arsenal is they do have a cushion against the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers, because Wolves are 10 points behind Arsenal. But Manchester United, with 2 games in hand, are only 4 points behind Arsenal. That means that if United win both of their games in hand, they go above Arsenal. And Spurs, with 2 games in hand as well, are only 2 points behind Arsenal. That will mean Arsenal now do have to beat Spurs, in their next game if you're going to survive, in the top 4. Because again, that is what big teams like City do, and that's what those are the performances you need to put in as a big 4 side. You've got to beat those teams that are really on your case. So if they can beat Spurs, that means that the next game in hand that Spurs will have will be useless, because look. If they beat Spurs, they will stretch the point gap to 5. That means if Spurs win their next 2 games in hand, there will be only 1 point ahead of Arsenal. But at the moment, if Spurs win both of their games, then Arsenal are in much trouble. So lads, that's it. From that is my match reaction on that game. Let me know what your thoughts were about the referee and everything, and then I'll speak to you tomorrow in the Chelsea Liverpool preview, and subsequently in the match reaction as well.